One critical aspect of self-reliance and independence is the provision of energy. My friend Greg Coates invited me to his beautiful home and showed me how he's using solar power technology to provide his family with most of their energy needs. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Hydro Gardening channel. For many years I have been dreaming about having a small block of land where my family and I can enjoy a life closer to nature and being as self-reliant as possible. My friend Greg is already living that dream. He invited me to his property and showed me some great ideas that I hope you will enjoy seeing as much as I did. I will upload a series of videos showing what Greg has achieved in his property, but on this episode I want to show you what he has done regarding solar power. I hope you will like it.
Patrick, we've got a 14 kilowatt system here. We put in, it's way oversized because we got so much shading, okay? You'll see that. And so even if it's only working at 1/3 or 1/4, I'm still getting as much as most people get out of their 2, 3, 4 kilowatt systems. But what we did was we've put it all into a solar hybrid system. So I'm still on the grid, but we don't need the grid most of the time. In winter we need it. We don't feed back in, we feed into our batteries, which are lithium. And those batteries provide power overnight. And the reason we did this was there's a huge bushfire area. And often the power goes out really when we need it during bushfire season. We might have 2-3 days in a bad season. What are we going to do? So we could run our bore, our aircon, we could check our fire reports and everything, no matter what's happening with the grid, if the batteries are lasting, and they will. So they're feeding in, they're all optimized. You see they're all on different angles. So that's the way we had to do it with this roof space. It wasn't designed for a solar system. So that's my main prime area, but also these are just trying to squeeze some more sun up there. And next week, my calendar says I'm supposed to raise them in pitch. Okay, they're all adjustable. So for the winter cycle, they'll be at a higher angle. And in summer, I drop them. I just drop them twice a year. You could get more pedantic than that, but it's just for the 2 main seasons. I don't have to really clean them, I find. I've tested leaving some dirty and some clean and they still put out the same amount. You can check that online. You just look at the output for each and it's certainly dropped our bills. But it's given us the security to know we'll have 240 volt power during any time that we really need it, I hope. So we've seen the panels out there. The brains is in this box here, the SP Pro. But we've also got 2 inverters for 2 strings of the panels up on the roof. And we've got our switch box and we've got optimizer here. So it's actually beyond my pay grade to understand how it all works. But I do know that it makes the decisions according to the paradigm that I've set up. That when the batteries drop to this much, we will charge the batteries as a priority. When there's a demand in the house, such as we've got the washing machine on and the dryer at the same time or something, it will give priority to the power going there than elsewhere. If the batteries drop so low and there's no sunlight, it will take from the grid and so forth. Or here's another interesting one. If the batteries drop so low at night, we will use the grid to charge the batteries off peak, which is very cheap, and then use those batteries the next day if there's no sun. What I'd really like to do is get someone to write some software for me that would say, right, tomorrow's weather prediction is very little sun. We will preserve the batteries overnight, fully charge them with the grid, and then use that during the day. So that, that would be a waste if you know you're going to have a beautiful sunny day tomorrow. So I want someone clever to do that for me and how to integrate with this. But you can see all this online. You know, I can be at work and I can look, oh yeah, the solar panels are producing this much. I get an email every day, how much. And since the middle of last year, we've produced 1 megawatt of power, which sounds impressive, but we've probably used that much too in that time. And the car is electric. So as soon as I come in, I plug it in. And people say, oh, you've got an electric car, you're charging it off the grid. Well, no, I'm actually charging it off the sun, really, aren't I? I like to think I'm actually running the car on photons. Well, I'm not. Of course it's converted to electricity, but the source of it is the sun, and we've got no other sources except for the grid. It's been a good thing, a very expensive exercise to do this. Giving us the independence during the fire season was the brief, but honestly, you know, a lot of money to do this with the batteries. The simple way, solar, feed back into the grid and remain connected to the grid, is the paradigm that works for most people. To start doing this sort of thing is hugely expensive, and if you do it on a return for investment idea, it would take too many decades to pay it off. But if you want security from the grid, then if that's your brief, okay, then it's an investment you make. And that's what people out in the bush have to do. If they're living a remote area system, the cost to connect to the grid is too great. They might as well put that $50,000, the cost of connecting to the grid, might as well put it into a system like this. But we're talking about a farmer out in the bush. In the city, the grid is right there for you. Hard to justify it unless, depends on your philosophies and your budget. Sure.